Hello and welcome back to Living Abroad. Yes, that title is correct. Today we're going to be talking about Philippines ranking #1 in adult entertainment. Let's put it that way to make it YouTube friendly, safe. We know what we're talking about. Whore. We're talking about whore. So, do I believe it? Let's see what happens. First, I'm going to read you guys the report. Then I'm going to read some comments, what other people think. And lastly, I'll share my personal thoughts about this report. So let's get into it. This was shared by multiple sources. I didn't want to cover it initially, but I figured why not, because it became popular. Anyways, a recent international data set referenced by the Alpha Index estimates that the Philippines has the highest number of people working in the adult entertainment industry per 10,000 people in the world, highlighting long-standing social, economic, and regulatory issues surrounding the sector. So the estimated adult industry workers per 10,000 people, Philippines #1 at 66, which means 66 out of 10,000 people are essentially giving up themselves for money. #2, Mongolia. 3, Germany, United States, and Taiwan in 5th place. Why the Philippines rank so high? Experts and research groups often link the country's high estimates to a combination of economic pressures, tourism, and structure of the entertainment industry. Key factors commonly cited are poverty and income inequality, pushing some individuals towards informal work, entertainment venues such as karaoke bars, KTV lounges, and massage establishments that legally operate but may be connected to adult entertainment activities, historic roots near former U.S. military bases where the entertainment districts developed around foreign servicemen, tourism demands, particularly in nightlife areas. Some known entertainment districts also, while commercial adult services are illegal in the Philippines, nightlife and entertainment districts have developed in several areas like Angela City, Metro Manila, Cebu City, Subic, Olongapo, and Porto Galera. Sabang Beach is one of those places. I'm not going to go through all the list of places. Researchers stress that the issue is not just about the adult entertainment industry, but broader concerns including human trafficking networks, poverty and lack of economic opportunities, migration and tourism pressures, weak labor protections in informal sectors. Addressing these challenges after require economic reform, stronger law enforcement, and expanded social protection programs. That is that. So when I read that, a lot of little alarm bells, or like whatever you want to call them, went up in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. A lot of this, I'll get to that in a second. But first, let's read about other people's thoughts regarding this new research. Oh, looks like a lot of people don't believe it. So, someone says fake news, fake. Russia is #1 exporter of hookers, and they're not even on the list. Bullshit lies. This site is all lies. Even if it's true, so what? Says another. And another person says fake. And lastly, someone says go on Bumble and Tinder in the Philippines. Lots of girls looking for mature men with provider mindset. It is funny how this would be raised as a major red flag back home in Canada. I felt like in the 1960s when I first read this. I see what you mean. I thought you lived back in the 1960s. I'm like, buddy, how old is you, right? So, all right. So here's my thoughts on this. First of all, bullshit as well. My personal opinion. Although there's a high number of people doing this online, in person in the Philippines, a lot of women exchange their bodies for money. I'm not disputing that. But I'm calling BS on the fact that they're saying the Philippines is #1 in the world. Really? I don't know about that. To be honest, like, it just doesn't make sense. Just given, I don't know. I've lived there for 7 years in and out most of the time. So I just, from what I see, it doesn't add up. Yes, it's a developing country for sure. Yes, a lot of them are online, or the people that might meet foreigners are typically, I'm not typically, a lot of them are like in that industry. But one thing I want to say, actually, let me backtrack that a little bit. It's believable in a sense, like in a way, but I just think because not everybody's reporting this data, and it's not illegal in every country, right? So there's so many factors here. It's just an estimate. So there's no way, first of all, somebody's going to admit it. Maybe Filipinos are just more honest regarding when it comes to that kind of industry. They might be upfront, say, give me money for this, and that's it. Another country, maybe you got to date them, fine wine and dine them, and at the end you got to pay like 2 or 3 times. So basically the same thing, right? I'm all over the place. I'm going to try to like organize my thoughts, okay? So firstly, I don't believe it. Not because I don't think there's prostitution, but because I don't think it's the #1 country in the world. Secondly, I think the large volume of just individuals living in the Philippines probably has something to do with it. Thirdly, Philippines spends the most time online from any other person's social media. It's really big. Fourthly, remittances. So the Philippines has a large connection when it comes to sending money between foreigners or even OFWs back into the country. So does that count as prostitution when you have a boyfriend, for example, sending you money? So depends on how you look at it, right? And I know a lot of men go online and they get like this bombardment of people asking for money for whatever reason, and they may be the ones reporting this as that kind of work, when in reality it's just a woman wanting some financial support for whatever. So I don't think it's necessarily number one in the world. I do think there's a large number of women out there looking for money. But one thing we got to remember, whoever's online dating, especially because let's be honest, not everybody's in the Philippines. It's the easiest way to meet women. We're not really dealing with the majority of the Filipinas, right? First of all. Secondly, most regular Filipinos that are, let's say, 25 to 35 are the regular ones. When I say that are not prostitutes, are working, right? So they're working at whatever, or call center, shopping mall, virtual assistant, OFW. They're doing all that work. So you're not going to meet the normal girls typically online with a large age gap. If you're like 75 or something, talking to a 25-year girl, chances are she's not really in it for the right reason. So the information that we have, I believe, is not very accurate. It's not a controlled method. They've not asked everybody. I don't believe in these kinds of surveys, but this thing kept coming up all over Philippine expat groups, YouTube channel, and people are talking about it. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me put my 2 cents into this. I don't think it's a fair judgment on the Philippines. It's just like that report that came out said the Philippines the most dangerous country in the world for tourism. Really, bro? Really, with all these wars going on, you're still gonna pick the Philippines? Yeah, some of this wasn't around last year, but still there was the Russia-Ukraine war still going on. What I'm trying to say is like some of these things are meant to like kind of what is that word I'm looking for? They're not really clickbait, but they're like rage bait, They have a small amount of information and they kind of apply to the whole country, and same way when it comes to online dating. For me, I don't think this is legit. I think there's a lot of other countries that are probably number one compared to the Philippines. Once again, I'm not denying there's a lot of women in the Philippines doing this, but I don't think they are the world's number one. And if you're curious to see what AI has to say about this, they say that the claim that the Philippines ranks number one in sex workers per capita mostly comes from statistical estimates rather than actual amounts. And those estimates depend heavily on researchers define the word itself, right? So in many studies, the definition is very broad and can include not only traditional way of doing this, but also bar hostesses, escorting, transactional relationships, or even some forms of online adult work. Because this word is illegal in the Philippines, or the job is illegal in the Philippines, the activity is largely underground. So researchers often estimate numbers using surveys, venue mapping, health program data, and modeling rather than direct records. That means the figures can very widely depend on the method being used. Some data sets also include workers of the nightlife venues in this category, which isn't technically a job that sometimes happens informally, which can inflate the numbers. On top of that, countries where this stuff is illegal and regulated sometimes reports lower the rates simply because they only count registered workers, while places the large informal sectors appear to hire a bunch of mumbo jumbo, basically saying what I said, but just a bit more AI-like. Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what do you guys think. I just kind of want to share my 2 cents on it. I don't believe it. And this is, even though I come on here and I call some women scammers that I see on Rafi Tofo show, I call them liars, but I think to just kind of generalize the whole country as the number one country when it comes to that kind of adult work, I don't buy it. I don't believe it. Not at all. So leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think. What has been your experience with it? Have you ever tried to purchase one of these services? Let me know. Because I know many of us got offers, right? Have you gone through with it? And what was that? I don't know. Share whatever you want. That's my point. This is a community. I love when you guys talk to me about any of this stuff. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.